Before I talk about today's readings, I'd like to share a little story with you. One of my wife, Rosemary, one of her cousins up in Massachusetts, told her a homily. It was one summer, probably close to 40 years ago. Real hot, and a lot of the homes up in Massachusetts don't have air conditioning. So everyone's in the pews fanning themselves with the missalettes or the hymnals. And I don't remember what the gospel reading was, but I'll never forget the homily. 9 words. It's hot today. Hell's hot too, so be good. And, this made me think, this is almost 40 years ago, if not 40 years ago. And I remember every word of the homily, and it's short and to the point. It gives us a lesson. That's what I want to try to do, just short and to the point. I'd like to plant a couple of seeds, and these 2 seeds that I want to plant really helped me on my diaconate journey. And hopefully they give you a curiosity that they gave me. It was like fuel to the fire that I already had. I'd like to look at Mark's gospel in the garden after they see Jesus, and the young man runs away, and they grab him, and he runs out of his garments. A lot of people say maybe this is Mark, because Mark wrote the gospel, but early on in my studies, and I don't remember the theologian that said this, but said every word in the Scripture tells us something. So, and I can't tell you where I figured it out, but I'd like to share this with you. That young man, we can look at as us every time we turn our back to Christ, run away from Him. We leave our baptismal garments behind in sin. And this is in contrast to the demoniac at the tombs, full of evil with the legion. And after Christ takes sends the legion into the swine, and they run off the cliff. The scene turns back to the demoniac who was naked, beating himself with stones and breaking chains. But when it turns back to him after the swine run over the cliff, he's clothed and in his right mind. And not only clothed and in his right mind, we can look at right mind as his next request. He asked Jesus if he could follow him. And really, you can look at it as this demoniac as the first apostle, because he sent him to go tell what Jesus has done for him. So, those 2 scenes in Scripture gave me a hunger for what's in all the, we're not just reading a history book. We're reading really a instruction manual on how to draw ourselves closer to Christ. So when we look at these 2 sons in today's parable, Jesus is referring to the first son. He's talking about Israel, all the sinners in Israel as a whole. And then the second son is the leaders, the elders, the ones who said they would serve God, but didn't listen to the words of John, where the tax collectors and the prostitutes did. So instead of listening to this as a history story, when we go home at night and before we go to sleep, we should examine our consciences and ask ourselves, Were we the first son? Or were we the second son? And just strive to always be the, we're human, we're going to sin. But strive to be the second son, where we really, when we sin, we feel it in our heart. Not that it's going to keep us from seeing God, but that we hurt the God that created us. Then we know we're in love. If it hurts us more knowing that we're hurting Christ, we're in love, and it'll give us more of a strength to resist the things that pull us away from Him. God bless.